There's another week in cybersecurity where the main lesson is that systems don't really fail all at once anymore. They just quietly stop resisting one trusted connection at a time. Let's start with ADT. A home security company confirmed that ShinyHunters, hacking and extortion group, stole personal information belonging to 5.5 million people after the breach was initially detected on April 20th. The company says the intrusion was limited, but still, when your brand is literally "We protect homes," you might want to ensure you don't hide your keys under the doormat. The week went even better for ShinyHunters, who turned out to be on a roll. Instructure, the company behind Canvas, confirmed a cybersecurity incident involving stolen data with ShinyHunters claiming responsibility. The gang claimed nearly 9,000 schools worldwide were affected, including data tied to students, teachers, and staff. Even as the final numbers need confirmation, the story matters because education platforms are basically identity warehouses with homework attached. Then cPanel gave us the week's most direct patch now or cry later moment. Critical authentication bypass in WHM and cPanels was mass exploited in sorry ransomware attacks after an emergency update was released. The especially nasty part is that exploitation attempts reportedly go back to late February, meaning some servers were not so much breached as gently marinated before encryption. Sorry suddenly seems a very fitting expression. DigiCert had an especially ugly trust chain problem. Attackers delivered malware to a customer chat channel as screenshot, infected an analyst system, pivoted into an internal support portal, and used that access to obtain EV code signing certificates. Really, there's a little bit for everyone there. Social engineering, malware, internal access, certificate abuse. At that point, it's really not an incident, it's more of a cybercrime salad. Linux also joined the party with CopyFail, the privilege escalation flaw disclosed on April 30th. Researchers said a local unprivileged user could exploit a kernel logic flaw to gain a root on major Linux distributions shipped since 2017. Not remotely exploitable by itself, but that's exactly the point. In the real world, local privilege escalation is what turns "we have a foothold" into "we own the box." Tiny exploit, enormous emotional damage. Microsoft, not to follow too far after Linux, closed the week with a very Microsoft shaped problem. A Windows shell flaw was updated to acknowledge active exploitation. As explained by researchers, the issue could allow zero click credential theft through auto parsing LNK files, leaking NTLMv2 hashes over SMB. So, don't click suspicious links has now evolved into please try not to stand too close to a file system. Now, the very obvious theme this week is chaining. More and more, it's not the big, dramatic vulnerability that gets you. It's the small ones. The things that show up as low severity, informational, we'll deal with this later kind of thing. Except they don't stay small. They stack, they connect, they interact in ways your report never really captures. And what looks like three minor findings becomes one very real breach. And this is exactly where Bright's approach stops being the nice to have and starts making uncomfortable amounts of sense. If attacks are built by chaining small, seemingly harmless issues, then a model that finds vulnerabilities in isolation and leaves them in a report is out of sync with reality. What matters, and what Bright brings, is continuously testing how those issues interact, prioritizing based on real exploit paths, fixing them quickly, and then actually validating the fixed holds in practice. Otherwise, you're not reducing risk. You're just documenting it very professionally while attackers are busy connecting the dots for you. Simply put, attackers don't do breaches anymore. They assemble them. Thank you for being with us. That's all from us until May 18th. We wish you a very lovely and very unchained 2 weeks. Goodbye.